Hogman from Wevive Fitness, and today she's going to tell us about her facility, what they do, how it got started, and all that kind of stuff. So, Stacy, you are Wevive Fitness. Was it started as Wevive Fitness, or how did it all start?
Yes, it was not started as Wevive Fitness. We started originally in 2005 as fat training, prioritizing health, activity, and tolerance. And then we opened up this space in 2008. And along the way, around 2009, 2010, we knew we kind of wanted to rebrand the company at some point. And then this year, we have numerous new projects on the go, and we started online training and online nutrition. So we were like, this is the perfect time to take fat training and brand it into something new. So we're turning that into Wevive. So Wevive is kind of taking over everything fat training does and adding a little bit more. So we still do all our personal training in-house and all our group fitness stuff in-house. And now we've added the online platform, which includes personal training and the nutritionist. We also have a nutritionist on staff that does all of that. So that's us in a nutshell.
So for the rebrand, how hard was it to actually rebrand a well-known name?
Yes, it is a challenge. We're actually you guys got us right in the middle of it. We're not fully, fat training is still there and Wevive has been introduced. So it's a whole bunch of different phases. It's not an easy thing to do because you have everyone that knows you as fat training and you have to figure out your steps so that people are like, oh yeah, everything's exactly the same, it's just a new name, right? So we're right in the middle, and I'm estimating that it'll probably be basically till the end of this year. We'll kind of do phase by phase, and then probably January will be like the grand opening of Wevive. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So you mentioned that you're doing online services now. Like, how did that come about? Is it successful so far?
Yeah, it's doing well so far. It's a slow build, as is anything, but it's just fitness is one of those things that changes every day, right? So you have to keep up with the market or your business will just fizzle out, right? Mm-hmm. Online is the way of the world right now, so if we can't help you within Edmonton, we can help you outside of Edmonton, right? It's also nice when you have clients that have trained with you for a long time and maybe they just want to take a break from coming, or they're going away on a holiday or whatever it is, you have something that you never have to lose touch with that client.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So when you were starting your business, how did you figure out how much funding you needed to start it?
Business plan after business plan after business plan. I could do a business plan in my sleep. I'm sure I've done so many that I could just spit it out to you. But yeah, it's just sitting there and redoing it and redoing it and redoing it until you come up with that magic number. And it depends. There's so many factors in what you need. Like, are you buying a space? Are you renting a space? What kind of equipment do you want to be? A functional training studio, traditional training studio, right? Like, there's so many factors in it, but you have to define who you are first before you can come up with a number of what your business needs. I think that would be the easiest way to do it, yeah, because there's again, fitness is anything you want to make it, right? So you have to come up with who you are first, and then you'll come up with a number from there.
So when you did get your funding, was it from a bank?
Yep.
And was it difficult to get, or once they saw your thought out business plan, it was?
Yeah, I mean, it was, for sure you won't get anything without a business plan. I can tell you that for sure. Yeah, it was easy once that was done. I mean, it does depend on who the people are backing up the business plan also, right? So as long as whoever your partners are and you have decent credit, then you're good to go. But you also need to show them what you can provide in the next 3, 5, 10 years. Right? So as long as you know where you're headed, then yes, it's totally doable. Yeah.
So going along with that, with the rebrand, was it easier for, say, the bank to give you extra money because you were so successful with fat training? Was it easier to get that funding than it was from the start?
Yeah, we actually didn't need to get funding for our rebrand. So yeah. But if you did, yes, it would probably be easier because you have that relationship, right?
Yeah.
Banking is kind of like personal training. You have to build a relationship, right? And if they have a good one with you, then things are way easier. Yeah.
So your original funding that you received, did it last? Was it enough to get you through?
Yeah. So basically, any funding that you the funding that you need is really like equipment, your equipment costs, right? Because you have to put that up front. And then, I mean, if you are buying a building, then that would be kind of, but the really only upfront cost is the equipment, right? And then the rest is usually a monthly cost, and by then you should be bringing in money to cover your overhead, or that's the plan, anyways.
So your business is currently making money. Do you make like a decent living now?
Yeah, I'm pretty happy. Yeah. It was, I'm not gonna lie, fitness is a hard business. It's not an easy business model, right? There's nothing passive about personal training. If you have a great month, pat on the back, but you gotta start all over on the first, right? So it's not like lots of businesses where there's passive income all the time, right? You have to get out there and make it. So, yeah, I love what I do, but was it easy? Absolutely not. No.
How many hours did you end up having to put in, like when you first started?
Oh, endless amounts of hours. Like you lose track of them after a while, right? Because you do what you got to do, right? From anything from like when we first opened, doing all the leasehold improvements, right? You want to save money, so you do everything yourself. So we would be here till 3, 4 in the morning, making a bathroom, like like all those things that you never thought you would do. And then the business opens, and you make mistakes, and you have to fix those mistakes. So those endless hours trying to fix, it is insane. You lose track. You just don't sleep. That's pretty much what you give up is sleep. Yeah. Everything that we preach people that they need to do, you kind of lose track of in that first couple months while you're getting things going. Yeah.
I had a question. Kind of lost it.
So we want to ask about your original target market. What was it?
So our niche is kind of usually a single female, 40 to 45-ish, making a decent income, doesn't have kids usually, isn't married, and it's a part of her lifestyle, right? I have a personal trainer, I go see my personal trainer, that's part of their lifestyle, right? So personal training, that's kind of always been who our demographic is, not to say that we don't have tons of other clients. And then the group fitness is obviously a low cost, something that, if you can't afford personal training, it's not a secret that personal training is not cheap, right? So group fitness is another alternative to that you can bring in a whole other market with that. But 80% of our clients are probably female within that 40 to 45 range, making a somewhat decent income.
So that's how it started and that's how it stayed. It hasn't really changed your target market?
We haven't done that in probably like 2 years, but the last time we did it, that was still probably 75 to 80% of our current clientele.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how did you originally determine your fees?
How did we do that? Seems so long ago. You just really, honestly, it's market research, right? You have to sit down and research what the market is doing right now and where you are situated in the city. And you just have to make yourself comparable. You have to know what makes yourself different, and so that you can tell that to people, right? So that you can justify your prices. But it's tons and tons and tons of market research. Like you can't just pull a number out and say, this is what I'm going to charge, right? People will look at you like you're crazy. So you have to sit down and make phone calls and Google and all those other fun things and see where you're sitting in the market.
So where you are in the city now, on the south side, do you have people from all over the city come to you, or is there just more people around?
Like our long-term clients that we've had from the very beginning come see us from we have clients from St. Albert and Leduc and all that. Newer clients tend to be more somewhat closer to where we are, right? Because unless they have a relationship with a trainer that we already have, people will drive. They don't have a problem driving, but new clients are usually closer to us in the south side.
And picking this area, or just this area was the only place available at the time. Was it a good place? Are you guys happy where you are?
Yeah, we're happy where we are. We it was kind of the feel we were going for, like the back, kind of that industrial feel. Like we have the garage door in the back, so we open up the garage door and we can train inside and outside, and We were never looking to feel like, what's the word I'm looking for, but we didn't want to feel like your typical gym, right? Our thing has always been it should feel like recess when you were a kid, right? So it should feel like a playground when you come in and you want to have fun. And so that's kind of what we were going for. And lots of the spaces we looked at couldn't provide that, right? So the whole garage idea was what we were going for in this area. Yeah, it worked. Yeah.
Is there anything that you would have done differently looking back, or
you know
good
what?
decision?
I feel like the answer that everyone would be looking for is like, yes, I would have researched this more and I would have learned more, blah blah blah. And I honestly no. I think you have to make the mistakes in order to grow and learn and do things different, right? And I've made a ton of them we have made, but I really think it's made the business who it is today and where we are today, and you don't learn unless you make mistakes. So yeah, there's things I could have done different, but I wouldn't go back and change them. Yeah.
I don't think so.
No? All right.
Well, thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.